You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. It's great to have you here, of course, as always, on our Motivation and Mindset Monday, where I can't wait to get into today's topic of the week. And today's topic of the week, the way that we are going to start our week off right is, if you're driving right now, you can do this a little bit later, but if you're not driving right now, I would love for you to follow along and work on today's topic. It's homework, and I think it's something that each one of us needs. And the reason is this, that the only reason, and I'll tell you this, the only reason you are not achieving the life that you absolutely want, the dreams that you want to achieve, is because you lack, most likely, what you believe the time in order to do that. Now, a lot of people say it's the motivation. A lot of people say it's the energy. And I can agree with that to a certain extent, but those things you can get fairly quickly. And I'm talking about within weeks to maybe a couple of months at the most. So really what we feel that we can't enable ourselves to take that next step in life is always and typically comes back to I don't have enough time. And I learned this at a really young age. I learned this when I was a teenager and I started to go work in gyms. And I learned that the number one reason why people quit a gym is that they don't have the time. At least that's the excuse or the give. So what did that look like? Well, if they didn't have the time, what happened? Well, they didn't end up using their gym membership. So after a month or 2 months or 3 months of not using it anymore, they called the gym and they said, hey, I want to quit. I want to cancel my membership. So then gyms, what they started doing is saying, sorry, we can't let you quit over the phone. You have to actually come in. Knowing that those people weren't coming in the first place. It was a hassle for them to even get there. This, to me, is a devious tactic that I don't like to see companies do. What I would rather do is help them find the time, right? So instead of the gym saying, hey, we're not going to let you cancel because this is our little tactic to try to get another month out of you, or what gyms do now is you need to cancel like 45 days or 60 days in advance. It's crazy. But here's the thing. What I would rather a company do is if you say, I don't have the time to come or I'm not able to do it, is give them a way, an accountability partner or something in order to get them there. And I did 2 podcasts for you, and I want to link them up. I want to make this really easy today. I want you to head on over to stephencabral.com/1340. And on today's show, I'm going to link up 2 podcasts that I want you to go back to. And it's one, how to find a missing 6 hours per day. And the second one is how to do a time audit, because I don't want to spend today's podcast talking about those topics that we've already reviewed. What I want to go over today is this, though. I want you to say, now, again, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. There's a missing 6 hours in most people's day. I'm going to help you find that in a previous podcast. But one of the ways that you're able to take back more of your time, which is the topic of today's show, is to create a not to-do list. Now, how many of us have a to-do list? I know I have mine. Mine is digital as well as handwritten. So the things that absolutely have to get done, they're written down and they're staying with me the whole day. They're in my pocket. I need to check them off. I need to cross them off. I need to complete it. But then I have my digital calendar. And my digital calendar is easy. I use an iPhone and I use a MacBook Pro. And that's how I run my entire life. That's it. I just use those 2 things. Got rid of my desktop, got rid of iPads, got rid of everything else, and I just use those 2 things. And I'm going to talk about my laptop a little bit later because it only stays in one place. So my calendar, though, that Apple calendar, I don't even know the name for it, but it's on Apple and it's a calendar. So we'll call it that. it's all blocked. My whole day is blocked off, and it tells me exactly what I'm going to do and when I'm going to do it. Now, the nice thing about that is this, and that's why one of those previous podcasts on creating a time audit will allow you to do this. If you schedule your whole day, and I know not a lot of people want to do that, but I'm going to give you a reason why. If you schedule your whole day, everything gets done. And if there are items that aren't able to get done because you've run out of time, what it forces you to do is start to clean up that schedule, because there is only so much time in a day. Now, the first part is this: we're not always using it wisely. So what I had to do when I learned this many years ago was this. I had to create a not to do list. And I'll probably stumble over that wording a few times on today's podcast. But here's what I had to do. I had to say, okay, well, I need an extra 90 minutes a day. That 90 minutes a day at most points in my life, that was for reading. Then I would have to add, okay, now I don't want to get rid of my reading. So now what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to take my reading to maybe 60 minutes a day. And now I still need to get, though, another half hour somewhere. So something had to give. Something always has to give. What is your top priority? But here's the thing. If you want to make it happen and something's important to you in life enough, you'll make it a priority. And once it becomes a priority, it has to be scheduled. There's just no doubt about it. So now you need to look at your schedule and you say, okay, I need to create what I call a not to do list. Now, for me, this was the magic, and here's why. It made my thought process really easy. I did a previous Mindset and Motivation Monday on this before. I don't use a lot of bandwidth and brain power and willpower throughout the day. I've set up specific systems for myself, and I'll see if we can find that podcast before, where I don't have to make a lot of decisions. And I'm going to share that with you today, because I'm going to give you 5 things that I do that are basically on my not-to-do list. And it makes my life so much simpler, but here's the biggest thing that it does. If you start creating a not-to-do list, things that you don't want to do because they're taken away from your goals, what happens is you create voids in your life. You create voids in your day in terms of time. Now, one of my favorite phrases is this: nature abhors a vacuum, which means that is going to collapse. You're not going to have your schedule is going to look like this. It's always filled. Think about it. Your day is most likely always filled, except for just a couple little breaks here and there. So if you open up an hour, trust me, you're going to fill it with something else. Now, if you don't fill it with something good, it's just going to be counterproductive. And oftentimes that leads to stress, and it leads to anxiety and overwhelm because you're not doing the things that you know you have the potential to do. Now, those things I consider to be negative then. So the thing that you're doing right now is stressful because it's preventing you from doing the thing that you know leads you to your higher self, to your true potential. So what I want to do is help you get back some of that time. And I want to share with you just a few of the things that I do. Now, they're not meant for you to necessarily copy, but you need a place to start. So again, I always go back to my big 5. Not the big 5 labs, but the actual big 5 areas of life you need to focus on. And you need to focus on career. It could be also called finances. You need to be focused on your body. And that could be simply trying to maintain or get to a lean, healthy body weight. The next one is your overall health. Do you have the energy and vitality to live a life that you want to lead? Another one is relationships. That's friends, that's family, that's parents, that's coworkers. Live in a good space, right? With good energy. And the last one is spirituality. And yeah, people add more areas of life than this, but most of them could fit within that little block there, right? You could also have your hobbies and other things like that. All of that's great too. I kind of it depends on what type of person you are, but your creativity could fall into your career, or maybe that isn't. Maybe that's another category you need because your career isn't part of your passion, and that's okay. So I'm not saying you need to limit it to that, but what you need to do is certainly pick a goal. I usually recommend never more than 1 or 2 at a time, because it just diverts your attention and you can't stay focused on the goal. And if you can't stay focused on a goal, you don't put a lot of energy into it, right? Because you're diverted in too many different directions. If you only have one goal, you know what you're waking up and doing every day, besides your typical everyday chores that you need to do in life, right? You need to take care of the other stuff. But what is that one thing then that we can divert more of our time, energy, and love and passion to? So I'm going to go over this more in the future as well. But for me, I have my spirituality, I have my relationships, I have my exercise body transformation. But for me right now, and again, we're always at different stages and parts of our life. For me, I have my family and I have my career, my passion. Now, for me, they meld together. So it's like I get to do what I love to do that I would do for free anyways as my career. And now I get to hire and bring more people onto this team, and we get to do more and more great things. Like, I love that. That's where I want to spend even more time, right? And then I have my family that I want to spend all the other time with. So I have this nice little, I have the two. I get to go to work, and not a lot of people get to say that. And I get to go home and have a great family. So a lot of my attention is always trying to now create a not to-do list that I can get more in those two areas while not neglecting my other relationships. And I also just had the pleasure of having lunch with one of my good friends. I'm good friends still with so many of my buddies from high school. And I got to just meet up with one of those friends. So you always work on your relationships. You work on your spirituality. Try to live my spirituality. I try not to separate it. I try to live my spirituality in my life. And again, I keep it real simple. My spirituality is about connectedness. It's about service. And it's about gratitude. It's about feeling fortunate. It's about understanding that things could be worse, no matter how bad things are. It's about having perspective. I try to live that in my life, so I never let it go. My relationships are being built every day because it's what I do, in my life and my career. And then, of course, exercise has to be that thing that I simply schedule into my routine. And I'm going to get into a little bit of that right now. So on my not to do list, and again, if you're driving right now, okay, try to either listen to this again later in the day or make a mental note right now of what's on your not to do list. Because you have to write these things down. If you don't, they never happen. Remember, put pen to paper. Put pen to paper, keep it in front of you, post it in your bathroom on the mirror, post it on your laptop. I do those things all the time. They stay in front of me like, oh yeah, I was supposed to remember that. And so that's what I do until it becomes habit. Okay, so first thing on my not to do list is this, and it was a game changer. I don't check my phone from when I wake up from 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. There's no checking the phone. Here's why. I don't need to know what's going on in my email. I don't need to know what's going on with my team right now. I don't need to check anything else. I don't need to check social media. What happened? I don't need to know what happened over the last 10 hours or so. I don't need to know that. So what I do is I don't check that. Now, what does that do? Well, that's a huge void for a lot of people. Imagine if you never checked your phone for the first 60 to 90 minutes of your day. If you wake up before the rest of your family, you'd have some free time. Now, that free time will allow you to engage in the morning routine that I've talked about so many times before this. Create that morning routine, whatever you want it to be. Imagine if you had all that time. Imagine if you only spent 15 minutes checking your email or 10 minutes checking your email. Let's say you'd spent 10 minutes on social media, 10 minutes looking at, what happened overnight on your, your digital news, whatever it might be. You get back 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, you could read 10 pages of a book. No doubt about it. Well, you might say, 10 pages of a book, or you could read 10 pages of a book for sure, 3 minutes a page. Now, when you look at that, we say, it's just 10 pages. 10 pages over 30 days is a book. Now you read 12 books at the end of the year. How many books have you read so far this year? If the answer is 0, well, now you're already 1 book ahead by the end of the month. You can do this, and it's only 30 minutes, but you have to get back that time. But the only way to get back that time is to create rules in your life that you follow. And you have to know why you're following them. Well, why I'm not following is because I want to become an expert in this particular category. Or I want to take this certification, or I want to study for this exam, or whatever it might be. You can do that by doing simple things. Nobody needs your attention. Again, 99.9 people out of 100. Nobody needs you between 5:30 and 6:30 a.m. And you might be like, how are you waking up at 5:30? Well, let's just say it's 6 a.m. That's realistic for more people. Go to bed by 10. You wake up at 6. Look at all that. You say, well, I don't like to go to bed till midnight. Well, that's okay. I didn't like to go to bed till 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. But I worked it backwards because here's the thing. I wasn't really doing anything productive between 10 and 2 a.m. anyways. So I might as well go to bed, wake up earlier before the rest of the world wakes up, and enjoy some quiet time to myself where I can begin to move forward. Game changer. The second one on my list is this. I don't schedule any meetings between 12 and 1. It is a rare occasion. Nothing's going to be 100%, so don't get down on yourself when it's not 100%. I schedule nothing between 12 and 1 for the most part. And here's why. That's my time. I wake up between 5:30. Well, I wake up and I'm basically, it's my time between 5:30 and 6:30. Then it's my family's time, and I love that time as well for about an hour. And then it's off to work, and I'm at work. For sure, I'm at work at my desk by 7:30 at the latest every day. So what does that mean? Well, it means from 7:30 till 12, that's what, 4.5 hours? That's focused work time. And there is a separation. Now, again, if one of my daughters has a meeting at school or whatever's going on, then I'm there, right? But for the most part, that's work time. That's not necessarily family time. So now, Monday through Friday, I have 4.5 hours of focused work right there. 12 o'clock, good. That's my time now for a little bit. What do? Well, I will then take a quiet lunch because I'm talking with people all day long. So I like a nice quiet lunch. What will I do? Well, I will listen to a podcast. I'll listen to some comedy. I love comedy. I like to laugh because it lightens my mood because I can get tense. You might not know that, but it's true. And then what I can do too is I can read and I can just engage in the things that I also enjoy doing. So I'll go for a walk. I'll listen to some binaural beats or I'll listen to whatever it might be. And it's anything to relax my central nervous system. That's what I do. I basically take that sympathetic nervous system and say, okay, now it's time to relax. It's time to enjoy lunch. It's time to work on my rest and relax and digest, the parasympathetic nervous system. Then after that, by 1:30, back at it again. And for the next 4.5, 5 hours or so, it's all work. And I'll exercise. That's part of my day. But remember, the 12 to 1, that's my time again. You might not be able to do that. I understand. What I'm saying is, for me, not to do. There's no to do during that time. Why did I do that, though? Because for me, it was a priority to break up the middle of the day. Because if not, I will sit at my desk, and unless I set my alarms and timers, I will work straight through the day. And that is too much tension on the body. So I try to save myself from myself all the time. And I say that all the time because I'm like a lot of other people that can be a little too type A. And so what I try to do is save me from me because I know me. And me has a bad side that can just get too intense about things. So now then I get to relax. And I like that, right? So I can switch it on and off. And it's just taken some time to learn that. My third thing is this, though, and this is really important to me as well, is for my body, right? Because my body transformation, my overall health is a big thing. So I need to work on those. I can't just focus on my passion, my career, and my family. I need to also focus on my health because I want to be around for my daughters and maybe their kids one day. So I want to be around for that. And I want to be fit and active when I'm on my 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. But that starts now. So a big thing, and this goes for everybody, I think this is super important, is that I always plan where I'm going to have lunch that day. I already know that. That comes from my planning the night before. So for me, it's easy. I work in Boston, and I know the top 3 places that they're going to have the plant-based lunch that I want. So for me, it's easy. There's no real tough part there. However, the same holds true when I travel. When I go to California, when I'm down in Texas, when I'm in Florida, wherever I'm traveling to, speaking all over the place, I'll be in Germany in another month or so. I have to know where I'm going to eat the next day. And the reason is I don't want to be caught making a poor choice just because I failed to plan. Remember, I love that quote as well. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Because you might be able to bump into a good place, but you may not. Now, I know for sure you're going to be able to make a good choice if you look at your options the night before, okay, or even before that. So this is a big thing with me. Mistakes only happen when a plan wasn't typically put in place. So this allows me as well not to have an unplanned cheat meal. I don't want to waste my cheat meals. Now, people call them flex meals. Call it whatever you want. I just call it cheat meal. Why? Because I'm cheating from eating good, healthy food. That's all. It's just a cheat on that. Now, do I feel bad? Not at all. I actually thoroughly enjoy my cheat meals, and I look forward to them once or twice a week. But I don't want to waste that on a meal that I didn't even really love. I want to eat a meal that's not healthy food and thoroughly enjoy it. That's what it's all about. I don't want to waste it on a muffin or something like that I don't even really like because I had to grab something on the run. I don't do that. So that's an important one for me. So on my not to-do list is that I'm not going to unnecessarily cheat on my diet just because I failed to plan. So that's on my not to-do list, which means if it's not on my not to-do list, I need to now not waste time trying to find a place to eat. I look it up the night before. It's now done. I know exactly where I'm going. I know the menu, and I'm going to go and I'm going to eat there. That's it. And I'm going to enjoy a nice meal because that meal is not going to make up. Remember, your meal takes you maybe 10 to 20 minutes to eat. It should not be, this thing where people focus too much on their taste buds. And believe me, I love food like the next person. But here's the thing. It only lasts for 10 minutes for most people when you're eating. So focus more on what lasts. What lasts is keeping your body in shape. And it's not about vanity. But I'll tell you this, if you keep your body in shape, you're going to be able to move through life far less effortlessly. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have less aches and pains. You're going to have more mental-based stamina as well. It's important. All right, my next one is this. Fourth one is this. I do not schedule work for the weekends. Now, again, every once in a while, something may pop up. I used to work 7 days a week. I worked 7 days a week until I was about 31 years old. Every day. But then, at some point, I said, probably not a good idea to work every day. Probably not a good idea. Now, again, weekends wouldn't be full days, but I would still work. So I said, weekends are family time. And before 7 years ago, it was just my wife and I, and it was great. But then had my daughters, and it became even more important. So the weekends are for family time. Now, if someone on my team needs a question answered, and they text me on Slack while I answer it, I will. I'll take 2 seconds to do that. That's it. That's the trade-off with running a company as well. But will I be checking my phone all throughout the day when I'm with my family? Absolutely not. It's going to stay in my pocket. When do I pull my phone out on the weekend? When I want to take a video of my two girls, I want to take a photo. That's about it, right? And then I'll take it out at specific times. We're not doing anything. I'll sit down. Maybe we just finished lunch and we're going to head out to someone else. I will check messages. I will check sports, like whatever might be going on. Again, like I'm a normal human. I don't know about normal, but I'm a human being and I do a lot of the same exact things. But what I don't do is I make sure that weekends are for relationships. Weekends are for family. And that's important. So now we have to separate out some of the things that I need time for. So if I need time now for the sports with my girls, soccer, dance, apple picking, those types of things, that means I can't schedule any meetings there. Plus, let's say that my wife is having a work event or she's doing something. She knows on the weekends, I don't have anything scheduled. So if she says, hey, could you watch the kids at whatever time? It's an automatic yes. It's just a yes because I'm there. Unless I'm traveling for work, I am there and I don't have anything scheduled because she's also with them, primary caretaker, Monday through Friday. And what's fair is fair. She needs me on the weekend. I'm there. That's fair. That's how I look at it. And it's really nice for me too, because from Friday late afternoon until Sunday night, I know that I really get to turn that nervous system off because I'm an on or off type of person. If I'm on, I'm on. That's why I have to shut it off at lunch. And then when I'm off, I really am off. Like I know how to get into that parasympathetic nervous system. I've had to work at it. I had to train my body to do it, but it was worth it because now I can fall asleep at night like a baby because I can turn it off. I can relax. So another big one is this, and it goes along with it. Because again, relationships are very important to me. No work, a minimum of 90 minutes before bed. Now again, every once in a while, will something pop up that I have to do? Yes, it actually happened last night. So that's why I don't want to be a hypocrite. But 9 out of 10 times, probably more than that, 9.5 out of 10 times, 9.5 out of 10 nights, there's no work. There's nothing being done for that 90 minutes before bed. And the reason why this is important is because you have to know when to set limits on things. So for me, my limit is I get to work hard during the day, but that cannot interfere with my family time and that time of the day. And also my alone time and my wife and I's alone time. That can't interfere with that because that's where then relationships and things start to break down. So I was actually chatting with the head operations person for our company last night, and I was upset. And he's a great guy. He listened to me, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm like, I can't believe I'm going to be working till 10 o'clock tonight. Like, this is against everything that I've set up in my life. I'm going to miss my workout. I'm going to miss this. But the truth is this. Nothing like that's probably happened in over a year. So I'm a lucky person. I really am. So that's why I was able to look at it. And I even said, I said to him, I said, listen, I'm going to wake up tomorrow, though. Everything's going to be good. And it was. I woke up happier than I'd been in a long time. And here's why. I got all the work done that I was supposed to. I got it done. I make sure that I didn't let anybody down because there were deadlines that had to be met. And the bottom line is it was better for me to have to just put it on my shoulders and just say, listen, I'm going to help out on this one. And it lightened the load for everybody. I don't love doing that if I don't have to and if it's not planned. But again, we got it done. I feel great this morning. But again, I don't make a habit of that. 9.5 out of 10 times, here's what happens. My laptop doesn't leave work. Never leaves work. All I have is my phone. So you know how hard it can be to sometimes work on a phone, open up documents, things like that. That's why I do it. Because if I need to work on my phone, that's a huge pain. And I don't want to do that. I'll wait. I'll go to work a little bit earlier if I need to, 7 o'clock. But I do not want to be working at night, which is why I leave that laptop at home. I used to have a cutoff before of 8 o'clock before my kids were born. Now it's much earlier than that. So what happens is this. If I don't have my laptop and I'm not going to be on social media all night because I just give myself a certain amount of time, then what is it? Well, it leaves a void. So now it's my not to-do list. No laptop coming home. No social media for an hour. I'm not going to do that. So here's what happens. Get home, dinner with my family, no phone at the dinner table. We don't have phones at the dinner table. So now we're there having a conversation. I can engage with my kids. If I had my phone, I'd be on my phone because they're addictive. So now I have the conversation. We do dinner. We do bath. We do books. They go to bed. They can be a little insane, so we'll try to calm them down for a little while. And then my wife and I have our time. And that then allows for all of the parts of my life to really work together because there's a time for everything, but you have to make that time. And I'm not going to say it's always easy. And hopefully today on the show, I also showed you that it's not always perfect. The goal is never perfection. I strive for perfection for, again, the first 30 years of my life. And I realized that that was never going to work. All it created was more frustration. Now I strive for my best. I know my best isn't perfect. I know it will probably never be perfect. Every once in a while, lightning strikes and it's perfect. But I don't expect for that, right? I'll take 90%. 90% is still an A. I'll take it. That's all that I want. I'm good with that. I say the same thing to my team. We're looking for A's. We don't need A pluses. Let's do our best. That's it. We can always make changes. Plus, if we're always shooting for A pluses, there's no room for mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to change things up every once in a while. So remember, your to-do list might be very different than mine. My to-do list 5 years from now will probably be different than this, or it might include more because I'll be in a different stage of my life. So in this stage right now, or just this year right now, this is where I'm at, and I wanted to share that with you because I try to be honest and I try to at least give you a starting point because you need a starting point. Everybody needs a starting point. So here's the thing. I need you to create your to-do list right now. Schedule your social media. Schedule your TV time. Schedule your news intake. Too many people. I mean, that's on my not to-do list. No news. No newspapers. People always say to me all the time, you're insane. How do you know what's going on with the world? Well, listen, what's going on with the world is not on the nightly news, and it's not in your local or your regular paper. That paper and that news station wants to show you. And I don't need to know whose house burnt down 5 streets over from me, and I don't know who got robbed or something happened to them down the street. That is not what life is about. And I'll tell you, if you look into psychology, you will see that what you put into your brain, especially on TV or reading, when your body's in more of that theta-based, not quite theta, but beta-based state, is going to stick there. And when you reinforce that the start to your day and the end of your day with the news, and all it is negative, and trust me, if you watch your news station tonight, just write down on a piece of paper, take the challenge. I know that you won't want to, but take the challenge. I asked my parents to do it. She got mad at me. My mom got mad at me. She's like, oh, look, this was positive. She had to fight to find something positive in the news. I'll tell you this, the news is nothing but negativity, and you need to purge that from your life. Read a book. Go to a news-based outlet online that will give you the stories that you curate, that you want to hear about. You don't need to know about all the negativity. You don't. That becomes then a part of your reality. You're reinforced with it. You're waiting for the next bad thing to happen because you see it every morning when you wake up, when you're most susceptible to the subconscious, and right before bed, as you're about to go to sleep. And people think that they're not susceptible. You are susceptible. So that was a little bit of a tirade there. But here's the thing. Since I've been creating this not to-do list, and this is why I really wanted to pass it on to you, it's taught me so much. I mean, it really has. I'm happier now. I'm healthier. I feel like there's less weight on my body. So by implementing a not-to-do list, I have less things to do. And I want less things to do in life. So that it allows me then some of the voids which create free time that I can then fill with the things that fill me up, that make me most passionate, that make me happy. And I want the same things for you because it could simply be more service to others. And that's great. But you need to create the time for that. So I'm telling you right now, by the end of today, I need you to create that not-to-do list. At least a few things. Just create a few things. Maybe there is no phone for an hour after waking or an hour before bed. That would be a great first step. Now you're like, well, what am I going to do with all that time? Exactly. I'm not going to tell you how to fill that. You will figure it out once you get clear on your goals. So if you take me up on this offer, I have absolutely no doubt you'll be feeling like a new person and achieving more in the next 4 weeks than you would have ever previously thought. There's no doubt in my mind at all. So I wish you all the best life has to offer, as always, of course. And I hope you have an amazing rest of the day. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. Of course, as always, if this was helpful, please do feel free to pass it along to anyone else you believe it could serve. Take care. Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.